All right, so there's a few things that we need to address here, y'all. Just like straight off the jump, yo, this might be a little something, something to y'all. Y'all might feel some sort of way about this, but look, it's going to be addressed because it has to be addressed. Okay, first and foremost, with the whole little situation that happened around Mr. Beast and Ava Chris Tyson, and this whole pretty much, if you don't know that situation, Ava Chris Tyson is Mr. Beast's best friend. Mr. Beast is this real famous YouTuber. I actually don't watch the guy, but I'm sure you probably know who he is. But anyways, this is a real famous YouTuber, and his best friend turns out he has a long history of pretty much being a freaking predator and a yeah, it gets pretty bad. It gets pretty darn bad. There's like a whole video. You just type in the name Ava Chris Tyson, and you'll see lots of it. Lots of it. There's receipts. There's everything. There's screenshots from this. There's everything. This guy was just full out. He was messaging minors, 13 years ool, so and so and so, or she, or whichever they identify as. He at the time before they transitioned. So she now was messaging minors and whatnot, and all this weird stuff. But anyways, where that brings me to with this, and remember I mentioned in one of my previous video, so I'm kind of like, yo, it's maybe time to be calling people out, right? Maybe time to be calling people out. But anyways, one of the biggest issues with the NGS community that often gets kind of swept under the rug, I think we kind of just flipped a blind eye to it because it's honestly become so common on the internet nowadays. Why this is acceptable is beyond me, but is weird behavior. These weird behaviors like this, dude, because we see this type of stuff in NGS happens. For instance, I really want to highlight this. This is Alio 1 on ship 1. This is actually a normal occurrence. Like anyone on ship 1 would classify this as normal A1 behavior, right? This is normal A1 behavior. What you're seeing here, you have this guy clearly how it needs to be on How to Catch a Predator, or Sexual Predator 100 101, bro. And then you have some other comments down here literally talking about Geneva Convention. This guy, I think I've seen this guy on different accounts or something like that, and maybe it's the same account, but he's always talking about like some stuff like this, like killing mass groups and stuff like that. Like it's bro, and this is normalized. This is the tip of the iceberg for Alio 1. That's the crazy thing. And that people, like I said, if you're on ship 1, that Alio 1 is like, they call it the degen block, but honestly you shouldn't even call it that, because honestly I think it's doing a disservice to degens. I thought that's doing a disservice to even be grouping them in with that. Like, I just like, because degen is a very broad term, right? But you shouldn't group them in with with this type of behavior. But this type of stuff often gets swept in the rug. So many times in NGS that I have seen, so many times, dude, like there are so many people who will pretty much, there's like so much like sexual harassment that people will try to force their, pretty much like force their sexual fantasies onto you. And like, if you don't necessarily agree with it, then they try to force it on even more. I've seen this. I've seen this in public chat, bruv. I've seen this happen in public chat. Where like people will be like, no, or this makes me uncomfortable or something like that. Then the other person just tries to like keep forcing it. Well, you'll like it anyway. So and so. So like, bro, there's like, bro, if I was an FBI agent, bro, I would just be like, yo, dude, let me go create some accounts. I'm just gonna plop them here in Alio 1, in A1, and let me get into like this little cahoots with Sega, with the server companies and stuff like that. So I can just pull all the information from all this, get in contact with the VPN services, with the actual servers for Sega and whatnot. Get into cahoots with all of them, because I guarantee you, bruv, you get the hard drives on some of these people in the Alio 1, bruv, and they spending 10 years in prison. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. So I'm calling it out right now because no one else wants to call this out. Naturally, you're probably scared to call it out. It is what it is. But I'm putting it out there because it needs to be addressed. It needs to be talked about. This kind of slid under the radar for way too long. And this is not acceptable. Like, it's not. Period. There's nothing acceptable about it. So I don't know why we acting like this is acceptable. This is not normal behavior. And so keep this in mind too. This is Alio 1. And this is generally the most populated blog. So this is another issue that you might be like, well, it's not that bad. But no, it is that bad, regardless of how you look at it. But anyways, this is another issue because it's Alio 1. It's always populated. Where's the first place that people go when you start the game? You go to Alio. Generally, you're going to get placed into a populated block. So as a new player, you're going to come onto the game, and the first thing you're seeing is this. Naturally, that's an issue. And then you might be like, well, Spike, the game, they changed the rating, the PEGI rating to 18 plus. I talked about this before. First and foremost, there's one or two things here with that. When it's changed to 18, first and foremost, that kind of, for some people, that gives them an excuse. Like, oh, well, it's 18 plus now. Now I can be even more of a creep. creep. And then there's two, the fact that that's not going to stop people who are underage from playing the game. Let's be honest. Every single person who is watching this right now has played a game when they were younger that was rated above the age of what they were. I'm sure most of us probably played Call of Duty when we were much under the age to be playing Call of Duty. Everyone has played a game that has been listed higher age rating than what they were at the time. Everyone who is watching this, period. This is how it works. So to act like just because the rating is 18, there's not going to be people who are underage playing the game, it's just ignorance. That's not true. But instead, we let this stuff slide by, and we let like this toxic and this grooming and this sexual harassment culture go by, and it just creates this environment that's just a constant shit show, dude. So I'm calling it out, plain and simple. Someone had to call it out, so I'm calling it out, and I'm saying I'll be the first to say that I sure as hell don't stand with that. So if you're doing weird stuff around me, understand that I don't agree with it at all. Don't try to act like I'm your friend, like I'm your buddy, because I'm not. If you're doing it, I'm not. Simple as that. Be sure to like, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Bless love.
Spike2 content.